Welcome to our video series on Nanba, the art of physical finesse. You may not be familiar with the word Nanba, but by the end of this series, you're going to know an awful lot about it. We're going to keep it simple, fun, and practical so that you'll have something that you can take away and easily review. And rather than me just demonstrating or talking, I actually have an assistant who's going to help me to show the changes before and after. So this is my friend Aaron. Please, you can come here. So, Aaron, you are new to Nanba, so that's just perfect. I'm going to give you 3 key words, and just we'll play an association game, like what comes to mind. If I say force, twist, and disconnect, okay, does that like bring anything to mind? Like it just
well, yes.
Doesn't sound like fun. Like doesn't sound like fun. Okay, well. These are the conditions that most of us find ourselves in. We're always forcing, we've got stress, we're kind of twisted out of shape, and our movements and our thoughts become disconnected. And this is maybe an inevitable consequence of our modern life, because everything is getting faster, and we don't walk as much as we used to. And so most of it comes from subconscious habit. And there's an interesting proverb in Japanese, perhaps you know it, nakute mo nanakuse, which means, people say, kusei means habit, right? And so people say, well, I don't have any habits. I mean, they might have good habits or bad habits, but they don't believe they have many habits. But the proverb says that even if you think you have no habits, you've got at least 7. And these would be unconscious habits. And they're habits that don't always serve us. Some habits are good. Brushing your teeth every morning is a good habit, arguably. And it's learned, right? Your mother and father will have to remind you, right? But some habits are learned just by unconsciously walking in a certain way or sitting in a certain way, and these are conditioned by the technology around us and things like that. So one of my favorite people to quote is Samuel Johnson, who's a British writer, thinker. And he said that habit is a chain that is too weak to be felt until it's too strong to be broken. It's deep, isn't it? You know? Because we want to create good habits because our habits can make us or break us. And so we want to develop a means of actually resetting, going back to neutral, if you will, because our habits will, and maybe our job, are you right-handed or left? Right. Okay, so me too. So we tend to use the right side more. Now that's going to create an imbalance in the body and in the nervous system. Or let's say sometimes you're busy at work or you need to do some repeated behavior. They talk about repetitive stress injury. Okay, that's true in almost any kind of work you do, whether it's physical labor or knowledge workers. It's going to put you in a particular posture. And the computer is a famous one, where you're like leaning forward and your head is not even on top of your body. But you're so involved in what you're doing that you don't even realize it, and then you stop the work, but you've still got that posture. An interesting experiment you can try is start to engage in some normal work activity, and then just stop and close your eyes so that you're not able to engage in it, and just pay attention to what your body's telling you about that. Because it's usually not a good message. So what happens is that our nervous system conditions us to not be distracted by that so that we can focus on our work, and the results are not pretty because then you get into this cycle where the habit becomes a chain that you can't break. Well, I'm going to argue and hopefully demonstrate that you can not necessarily break it, but you can reset it. So that you can, it might be natural to be kind of imbalanced or out of flow as a result of your lifestyle or what you're doing, but you can always reset it. And if you can reset it, you can maintain more energy and you can restore your balance and your flow. Okay. In this series, we're going to cover a number of different, maybe at first 6 chapters, and we'll get into that as we go. But let me just say briefly, my name is William Reed. I first came to Japan in 1972 to study Aikido. And it's been 52 years since I started that. And along the way, one time my Aikido sensei mentioned I'm so glad I went to that class, because if I hadn't, I probably wouldn't have discovered Nanba. But he mentioned Nanba as the way the samurai would walk. So I tend to call it samurai walk, although it's not just about samurai. It's a Japanese cultural phenomenon. And the three principles of Nanba are, back to the three key words: don't force, don't twist, don't disconnect. The question is, how do you do that? And that's what we're going to get into in this video. So we'll be covering Nanba walking. Then we've got a chapter on Nanba balance, on Nanba flow, on what you might call self-care, and some accessories that you can use to sort of access that state easily, quickly, and also a little bit on footwear that enhances that state. So I'm delighted that you've agreed to join us today. And since you don't know anything about Nanba, that's perfect, because we're going to start from there. So we're looking forward to having you on board on this series, and feel free to review it as many times as you like.